Hello crafty friends, this is Julia. Thank you so much for joining me for a new card making video. This week it's Unicorn and Rainbow Week at Monis Bastelkiste, and she has an amazing sale going on for lots and lots of products that are themed with unicorns and rainbows. So be sure to check it out. I will leave a link down below. And for my card for this week, I used the My Favorite Things Unicorns and Glitter stamp set and coordinating dies. I started, as usual, by stamping out all of my images onto Transotype Perfect Coloring paper with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm coloring them in using Copic markers. I'm using E04, E11, E00, and E000 for the skin tone, and R81 and R83 for the blush. This is actually my favorite skin tone combination, and I got it from my friend Cindy. So thank you, Cindy, if you're watching. I love this combination. Just blending the colors back and forth. I wanted to have some nice definition underneath the hairline, but I wanted the skin overall to still be pretty light, and I really love this combination for that. For the hair, I'm using E50 markers. I'm starting just kind of shading out where I wanted the shadows to be with E55. I'm going to add quite a bit of like the darker browns, but I wanted to be sure that this is where I want the shading to be, so I started with a medium brown. Once I was happy with how that looked, I'm going in with E59 as my darkest shade, and I'm just adding lots of little strokes. Oh, actually, started with E57, then I went with E59. Just light flicks to get some texture into the hair. And I'm trying to add the strokes so you can see each individual stroke and not that it just all merges together, which I really struggle with, but I'm pretty happy with how this hair turned out. Then blending that out with E55. Trying not to blend too much because I want the strokes to still be visible. Then going in with E57. I wanted to have a nice big highlight area in the center. Then going in with E53. And finally E51 as my highlight shade. I colored the little, what is it, a dog? I'm not sure, with the huge ears. I colored the dog in the same color combination as the hair, so but I just left out the E59. So E57, E55, E53, E51, and I also added in some E50 just for the lightest areas, and I used the same color blush as on the girl. Then for the cute little kitty, I'm using W00, that's hard to pronounce, W1, W3, the colorless blender, and the same color of blush in the insides of the ears and on the cheeks. Just adding a little bit of shading on the cheeks and inside the ears. I wanted to add a little bit more shading on the outside edges, so I'm going back in with the W3. And then back in for a second layer with W1 and W00. I wanted to use three colors of a purple, a teal, and a pink. So for my teal, I'm using BG13, BG11, and BG quadruple 0. And I just try to alternate the colors on the like little unicorn horns, the tail, as well as the dress of the cute little unicorn girl. I made sure to keep the color still fairly light. I didn't want it to be like a dark teal or purple or pink. Just a little bit of shading around the edges and keeping the most of the images pretty light. Just blending the colors back and forth until I'm happy with the result. I colored the rest of the teal images, or the teal like little bits of the other two critters off camera because I used the same combination. And for my pink, I'm using R81, R83, and R85. Just like before, I colored the rest off camera. And for my purple, I'm using BV02 as my darkest shade, then BV00 and BV000 as my highlight shade. Just coloring the cute little skirt of the kitten is just so sweet. Then I used the coordinating dies of the stamp set to cut out the images. And for my background, I'm using pinks and purples as well. So I'm starting with Spun Sugar, Kitsch Flamingo, Shaded Lilac. But Shaded Lilac wasn't quite dark enough, so I'm bringing in Villainous Potion as well, just to get a bit more contrast. So blending the two pinks together at the bottom. And I wanted to make sure that it fades out into white at the bottom because I didn't want to add a hill or anything. And then I'm just going in with a light layer of the Villainous Potion. I didn't want it to be like too crazy purple, but you know, just the right amount of purple. Just blending everything back and forth. I just played around with the images, put them on the card to see where everything needed to go. Also blending out the bottom again so that there's a nice fade into the white. Then I added a scalloped frame on the outside, and I made sure to, before I adhered it, I actually just put it on and so I could figure out the placement of the sentiment. This is also from the Unicorns and Glitter stamp set. So I'm just removing everything that I used to get the placement right, and I'm heat embossing the sentiment in white. We go together like unicorns and glitter, which I think is just so cute. And then I'm also stamping some of the sparkles from the stamp set in some embossing ink. Again, using the images and the frame for placement. And I started with a few, then I added a few more, as you do. Also, just heat setting everything. And that wasn't quite sparkly enough for me, so once all the little sparkles were melted, I added the frame, then I added my images with some foam squares, added everything to an A2 sized card base, and now I'm just using my Jelly Roll pen in the number 10, and I'm adding a few more hand-drawn sparkles all around the card so that it has some nice shimmer. And for extra glitter, because you can never have enough glitter, I added some Stardust Stickles. And to the rainbow, to the background, I forgot to mention, I also added some shimmer spray so that the purple background, pink and purple background is also kind of sparkly, as you can see here. I had lots of fun making this. Make sure to stop by Monis Bastelkiste. This stamp set is actually on sale for 30% off. And all the other unicorn and rainbow items are also on sale. So if you're looking for something, be sure to stop by. And I hope I'll see you again next time. Until then, have an amazing day. Bye!